Okay, let's try this without a muted mic. Said pops up on the screen. Muted mic. As I was setting stuff up, I was muting mics. I hope you have a nice hot cup of coffee where you're at today. As you're jumping on, say hi where you're watching from. Take a big swig with me. Mm-mm-mm. Nothing like starting a day with a nice strong cup of coffee. Hope you're having a wonderful day where you're at. It is beautiful in central Missouri. God's free country, the land of the home, the land of the free, the home of the brave really does exist right here in central Missouri. Hope you're having a great day. Please let me know where you're watching from as you log in. This is Mike the Patriot coming to you live from central Missouri. It is approximately 8:32 a.m. on 4/14/2021, the year that the Lord God above gives us our victory. I do believe. Last year was the year that all the conspiracies became reality. I mean, every conspiracy after the other we found out was true. I wouldn't be surprised if lizard people start unzipping their. No, maybe not. Maybe not that. I'm not going that far. Hey, you gotta have some fun with it, right? As long as you're jumping on, let me know where you're watching from. Do me a favor, share this video with. Share this video because I can watch it. I can watch my video grow. I can watch people comment till about 10 o'clock, and then it shuts off. It's like Facebook goes, no more. So hey, whatever. That being said, go over and watch me on Rumble because they don't shut me down over there. In fact, they boost it over there. Enough people start watching, they'll boost it over there because they're in it for the money. I'm just saying. And I don't blame them. That's what I would do. If you got somebody who can create content, somebody can get eyeballs, you put commercials on it and boost it out there so people will see it so that you can sell advertising. That's your business model. I guess, of course, again, when the Chinese are buying all your stock, making your stock worth billions of dollars, who cares about a business model, right? Anyways, also on YouTube, if you're watching me on the YouTubes right now, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell. If it's the first time you're seeing me, let me know. I do appreciate everybody that jumps on and watches. I apologize. My nose, I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Oh, no, he's got the Ronas. No, I don't. It's probably more like allergies. I don't get much allergies, but also go over on Telegram. I tell you what, there's so much happening. Telegram's where it's at right now. I might do another little tutorial on how Telegram works, but I tell you what, it's uncensored. One of the things about Telegram, let me just drop out of some stuff that I have going on here. I want to show you something. Okay, I don't want you to see what I have planned, but let me just add the screen here. I dropped this off. Too many buttons. So I want to show you something. So this is my other computer, right? If you notice, I've got my web browsers down here, and I don't have on my other computer. I use Brave as a web browser mostly, but in order to run my software program that I'm on right now, I have to have a Chrome. So there's Chrome, there's the Microsoft one, but this one right here is Telegram. One of the things that it does is you have to download it onto your computer or onto your phone. It does not use, see, there's Telegram right there. It does not use a web browser. So therefore, you're not going to get blocked or screened or shut up or slowed down by Google. Did you hear that? It did. It's listening. It's always watching. Always watching. Yes. Anyways, moving right along. I just wanted to, I thought about that the other day. I said, well, that's interesting. I hadn't really put that perspective to it, but I mean, now let me pull all my stuff back up so I know what I'm doing with y'all, right? So, yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that one's okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. We know what's going on now. We're halfway there. So as you're jumping on, please say hi where you're watching from. I do appreciate everybody that does. I like to read the comments, even the bad ones. And if you're trolling, hey, expect me to either, if you get nasty, I'll block you. I will. But if you're just trolling and you're being human about it, asking questions or putting your point of view out there, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with opposing points of view. I don't have a problem telling me I'm wrong about something. I don't have a problem with some of you guys that are my fans and all that stuff saying, hey, Mike, you said something wrong. I don't have a problem with that because that's how we all learn, right? I mean, the free exchange of ideas is what's made America great. And my ideas are just mine. It's just that. They're mine. And you have yours. And yours might be as good as mine or better. And you know what? Maybe if we put your ideas with my ideas, we can put something together that's really great. But we've kind of lost that in America, haven't we? It's kind of just the way it's went down the road. So take a big swig of your coffee wherever you're at and join me as we discuss the events of the day. Got a little humor to start off. We've got to start off with some humor. They say you're not supposed to do that on TV, but I'm not on TV, so there you go. Oh, a friend of mine said he was watching me on Rumble the other day on his 79-inch or 78 or whatever it is TV. I mean, that's big. I was like, man, you're getting all kinds of ugly, ain't you? Anyways, so moving right along. So let's I want to play this here video for you. This is Kamala Harris, and she's on the airplane, and it speaks for itself. Just here we go.
I've been really trying, baby, trying to hold back
sorry.
for so long. And if you feel like I feel, baby, then come on. Oh, come on. Ooh, let's get it on.
Oh yes, there's old you know, the hoe, you know, because it's I forget, Fake Joe and the hoe, you know, right? And that's all Willie Brown. That's how she got her gig, was teaming up with Willie Brown. By teaming up, I mean by teaming up or hooking up, or you know, whatever. It is what it is, right? I mean, she doesn't deny it, so why should we worry about what the other people are saying? So let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this video up. Let me mute this real quick. I'm gonna pull this video up, and we'll start here, and we'll just go from there. As I load this in, just bear with me. It takes me a second. My computer's a little slow today, as every day. Okay. So check this out. This is, and some of you may have already seen this, but some of you may not have. But this is Project Veritas. Hopefully, I'm not echoing too much here. I can kind of hear a little bit in my ear. Sometimes it does that with this. But just check out this video. This is Project Veritas, and it's CNN. Yeah, I've got an echo going on.
I think we got him through this term. We would always show shots of him jogging, him in aviator shades, and like you paint him as a young geriatric. We were creating story there that we didn't know anything about. You know, so that's I think that's probably it.
Look
what we did. We got Trump out. I am 100% going to say it, and I 100% believe it. That if it wasn't for CNN, I don't know that Trump would have got voted out. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Do you think it's going to be just like a lot of like fear, like climate?
Yeah, fear sells. Fear sells. No one ever says those things out loud, but it's obvious.
For years, we've heard that CNN is the most trusted name in news, but a CNN director is on tape telling us that their propaganda, helping a certain political candidate, employees admitting what we've always known to be true.
Trump was, I don't know, like his hand was shaking or whatever like that. We brought in like so many medical people to like all tell a story that like it was all speculation. That he was like neurological damage, like that he was losing it. He's unfit to, you know, whatever. We were creating story there that we didn't know anything about. You know,
creating a story.
So like whenever a new story comes up, they're going to latch onto it. They've already announced in our office that once the public will be open to it, we're going to start focusing mainly on climate. It's going to be our focus. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was, right? So our next thing is going to be for climate change awareness.
Who decides that?
The head of the network, like just
Who's that? Is that Zucker?
Zucker, yeah. climate change is going to be the next COVID thing for CNN. We're gonna hone it. Our focus was to get Trump out of office, right? Without saying it, that's what it was.
And that's the question, Mr. Zucker. Why is it so important to hide the truth of what you're really trying to do?
So there's CNN straight up lying. The whole as I've said many times, when they're trying to create, they're all worried about narratives this, narratives that. We got to worry about the narrative. Trump's narrative, Biden's narrative, Kamala Harris's narrative, everybody's narrative, CNN's narrative. There's CNN creating a narrative that they have to get Trump out. Well, a narrative is not the truth. It's anything other than the truth. Therefore, it is a lie. They lied. They admit that they lied. They set up propaganda, intentionally lie, because they had to get rid of this guy because they're an operation for the deep state. That's what that is. And they say their next effort, coronavirus is falling apart. We're going to talk about that in a second. But so the next thing is climate change. There was a post out here the other day that said it's going to be a hyperactive summer when the hurricane season, or 17 named storms. 17. Where have I heard that number before? Anyway, leave me right along. Sorry, man. Got a sneeze, half sneeze going. So 17 named storms. I'm old enough to remember when they didn't name tropical depressions or tropical storms. They only named, it had to be a category 1 hurricane or more. You see, we only had 4 or 5 named storms every year until they changed the definition of what a named storm was. They created a narrative, a lie. And now, 10 years, 20 years later, however long it's been, oh, there's going to be 17 named storms. There's that number again. It's going to be 17 named storms. And it's worse than it's ever been. Climate change. Oh, why is it climate change and not global warming? Why is it not global cooling? Because when I was in the 70s and I was in school, I remember always talking about ice age coming, the ice age is coming, but the ice age isn't coming anymore. Let's see, because you see, in the 70s, we were leaving a solar minimum and going into a solar maximum. And the solar maximum ended about 2005 to 2010, and now we're going into a solar minimum again. You see, there's this big ball of fire in the sky. Some of you may have seen it. And when it gets warmer, solar maximum, which has been the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, the planet gets warmer. It's kind of like the thermostat in your house. And when it gets cooler, shockingly enough as this is to say, and I'm no scientist, and I didn't stay in a Holiday Inn last night, but when the big ball of fire in the sky gets cooler, the planet gets cooler too. Isn't that amazing? Shocking, I know, right? It's amazing how that works. So in the late 70s, we were coming out of a solar minimum, going into a solar maximum, and things started warming up, and they were global warming, throw money at it. I'll go up there going, it's only got 10 years left. And that was 30 years ago. Now we got Gretchen saying there's only 10 years left. Well, 30 years from now, when Gretchen is old enough to make, good on the money she's made, she'll still be talking 10 years from now. Of course, 30 years from now, she'll be talking about super global cooling. We'll be back to global warming. Right now we're global climate change, because they'll be say global cooling here for too long, because things are going to really start cooling off a little bit, because the big ball and fire sky is going through a solar minimum, meaning someone's turning down the thermostat. God. So they create a narrative. They throw stuff out there to scare you. Like this, Scientific America has agreed with major news outlets worldwide to start using the term climate emergency, to create a narrative in its coverage of climate change. It's an emergency. We're going to have 17 named storms because we named more storms. It's going to get cooler, no hotter, no cooler, no hotter, no cooler. No, the sun's getting warmer, it's getting cooler, it's getting hotter. It happens every 30 years. It's like magic. It's only been happening since Adam. Galileo discovered it. Read our statement about this decision and the impact we hope it can have throughout the media landscape in creating a narrative so two things can happen. One, the media can make money off your fear. Yes, of course, there's that one. And two, we can push everybody towards this one world government that we're all trying to get to so we can have utopia. Won't it be wonderful? Aren't you ready for utopia where they get to do all this stuff? It'll be great because they're nothing but a bunch of lies. It's all a bunch of lies. All of it. Everything is a lie. Your entire existence. Everything you see when you flip on that boob tube is a lie. All of it. This is in the news. Russia warns U.S. warships should stay out of Crimea. I don't know how to get into Crimea. I think they mean the Black Sea. But hey, what do I know? For their own good. Russia on Tuesday told the U.S. to keep its warships away from Crimea for its own good, calling their deployment in the Black Sea a provocation, Reuters reported, because you can always trust Reuters. The United States is an adversary and does everything it can to undermine the Russian position on the world stage. Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybakov, I don't care, said, according to Russian news agencies, we do not see any other elements in their approach. Do not see any other elements in their approach. Those are our conclusions. Reuters noted that this is a departure from Moscow prior's language describing the U.S. as a partner. Hello, McVeigh. Hello, McFly. I said McVeigh. That's a wrong movie. Yes, because when Donald Trump was president of the United States, he went around thumping all these people, got them all in a team and signed peace. He had peace breaking out everywhere. He hadn't entered a foreign war at all, and he was partnering up with these people, working together with everybody, slapping some people around that need to be slapped around. They still be doing it. Because Donald Trump wasn't worried about if Russia put Russia first. And Donald Trump wasn't worried about if China put China first, because he was putting America first. And that's what he thought they should do. But now, we've re-entered the world global cabal. And Moscow sees us as an adversary. The Turkish government announced last week that the U.S. would be sending 2 warships to the Black Sea this week in light of a buildup of Russian military forces in Ukrainian border. Loose lips, sink ships. Why is Turkey saying this? Why didn't the United States? Why did Turkey put that out there? The ships are expected to arrive by Wednesday, that's today, or Thursday, and will remain in the Black Sea until May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Russian annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Fighting between Moscow-backed separatists and Ukrainian soldiers resumed last month, bringing an end to the ceasefire that had been reached by the two groups last summer. There's more to this story that we're not being told. The group of 7, or G7, foreign ministers, deep state, released a statement on Monday calling on Russia to cease its provocation on the Ukraine. Well, yeah, maybe Ukraine should stop launching mortars into the Donbass area. I mean, shouldn't they cease too? It's interesting how the world always blames the United States. Now they're blaming Russia. The group of G7 foreign ministers released a statement when I said that. We call on Russia to cease its provocations. Cease its provocations and to immediately de-escalate tensions in line with its international obligations. The statement from the G7 foreign ministers read. Think deep state when you see G7. In particular, we call on Russia to uphold the OSCE principles and commitments that it signed up on transparency of military movements and to respond to the procedure established under Chapter 3 of the Vienna document. It added, referring to the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Oh, yes. Except there's so much going on there that isn't, we're not getting the full story. Something not right there. And then there's this one. China is now calling on the global community to urgently start the negotiation on space arms control after flatly refusing to take part in the nuclear agreement with the U.S. last year. What's that all about? I'll tell you what that's all about. Donald Trump kicked their ass in space. Hello. See, China doesn't want to be part of any of these treaties. See, we have treaties with Russia on nuclear arms, which limits our nuclear arms. We have treaty with Russia in space, but we don't have any treaties with China about all this stuff. China doesn't want any part of it. Now, all of a sudden, China wants some treaties. We got to have some treaties. Why? Because we're kicking their butts in space, and they know it. They know that the advantage that they had in space in 2015 no longer exists. And that the United States, now what do we have up there? I don't know. I'm just telling you that's why they're reacting. That's what that's all about. Jump ahead of myself a little bit there. So, on that note, talking about the Ruskies and the Chinese, there was a press conference. There was a press conference at the White House, and Miss Psaki, of course, her name is Psakniskiske. You see that right down there? You'll get it in a minute. Piskanowski. You'll get it in a minute. Just watch this video.
On Russia, the president proposing a summit with Vladimir Putin would suggest that he's looking to de-escalate some tensions there. So does that mean it's unlikely the U.S. is going to enact harsher sanctions on Russia, like sanctioning their sovereign debt?
Well, I'm not going to get ahead of any announcements we have on the consequences that we will invoke on the Russian leaders for the actions they've already taken.
Как вам всем известно, в Украине произошел антиконституционный переворот и вооруженный захват власти. По сей день законом о прокуратуре
I mean, that's almost as easy to understand.
Прокурорского надзора законом является защита от неправомерных посягательств социально-экономических, политических.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. So, let's see here. Let me load this one up here. So the Fed chair has warned of cyber attacks pose the biggest threat to the U.S. economy. Now, this got me interested, especially, I kept 17 name storms, a whole bunch of stuff, 17 this, 17 that, and if you follow any of that stuff, this might ring a couple alarm bells to you. Fed Chair warns cyber attack growth the biggest threat to the U.S. economy. The Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell has warned that the biggest risk to the U.S. economy is a threat of cyber attacks, which could bring down the financial institutions can bring the financial institutions to a halt by taking away their ability to track payments. Federal Reserve Chairman. You know that the Federal Reserve is not a government agency, that is actually owned and operated by a couple select families, along with all the other reserve banks all around the world. They control them all. And that they loan us our money and then charge us interest on top of that. And that they've printed trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in the last year. Did you know that inflation went up? I'm getting off track here, but I think y'all need to understand this if you don't already. Some of you probably already do. Pretty smart folks out there, smarter than me. Inflation they were expecting 1.7, it went like 2.6 or 2.8 or something like that. Unexpected. Experts were shocked. Shocked, I tell you. Experts are always shocked. You know, Abraham Lincoln once asked an economist how the economy was going to be. And he said the economy was going to be this way or that way. And you can plan on it to be this way. And Abraham Lincoln, so we can bet that the economy is going to be this way. And the economist said, no. Like, it could go this way also. So on the other hand, what we need to worry about this right here. And so Abraham Lincoln looked at the economist and said, what we need around here is a good one-handed economist. Always the other hand. I forgot where I was going. Joke popped in my head. I had to say it. So the economy, we've dumped all this money, and it's causing inflation. You know that just like I just talked about with the hurricanes, how they changed the definition of what a named storm was by naming more storms. Therefore, we now have 17 named storms this year. It's going to be traumatic. It's going to be terrible. We had all these named storms last year because they're naming tropical depressions. They're naming thunderstorms. We had to go like through 10 lists of names to get to all the named storms. Well, they've done the same thing with inflation. You see, they don't count gasoline. They don't count automobiles. They don't count food. They don't count agriculture. They don't count energy. Well, I don't know what they count in inflation. They don't count lumber. Lumber's through the freaking roof. So what do they count in inflation? They stopped counting all that stuff in the 80s. Why? So they can hide the fact that your dollar is losing value by the minute. And they've been trying to control this, and it's about done. Anyways, moving right along. Excuse me. Let me pull that back up for you. I'll apologize. Speaking to the CBS News show 60 Minutes, Powell outlined his concerns as the world evolves. The discussion on how the U.S. can protect the economy from emerging threats, as well as how the U.S. economy can rebound from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, issuing a warning that the head of America's central banking system, it's not America's central banking, it's the world's central banking system, and America doesn't run it. Hello. Said the risk of the Federal Reserve, the risk that the Federal Reserve is keeping its eye on the most now is cyber risk, laying out a situation in which a hack could easily take down financial institutions or take financial institutions offline. While there are a number of potential cyber attacks that could cripple the U.S. economy, the Fed chairman said the nightmare scenario for the U.S. would be a hack that removes the ability of institutions to track payments being made and received, bringing part of the financial system, all of the financial system, to a halt. Despite the ever-growing concern of cyber attacks among officials, the Federal Reserve Powell sought to reassure Americans that the institution is equipped to repel or deal with any threat that emerges, ensuring that it spends so much time, energy, money guarding against these things. I bet they do. I bet they're freaking out because they probably read 17 also. The Federal Reserve isn't the first U.S. bank financial institution to raise the alarm about the risk of cyber attacks and espionage. The International Monetary Fund, which has its headquarters in Washington, D.C., which is a big, gigantic slush fund for the deep state, has stated that the cyber risk has emerged as a significant threat to the financial system, estimating that it could cost banks up to $100 billion a year. So they're very, very concerned over at the Fed about a massive cyber attack taking down our money supply. Well, if they don't take it down themselves first, because, well, they're doing a very good job at destroying the dollar bill, basically. So with that, moving right along, just thought I'd throw that out there so that you guys could feel like it's going to be a great day today as you look at your dollar bill and realize it's worth less, or maybe it's just worth less. I don't know. I might do another show about silver and the dollar bill and what that all means here in the near future if you guys want it. This one says, please God, make it stop. Make the conspiracy theorists be wrong just once. Because every time we turn around, they say we're a bunch of nut jobs with aluminum foil on our heads, and all of our conspiracies, all you QAnons out there with all your but then one after another, they're coming true. Microchip development by the Pentagon, developed by the Pentagon to detect COVID-19. Oh, let's all get a chip implanted to us, then we can know if we're sick or not. I'll pass. You guys can keep that. I'm not interested in that one. You can have it. Anyways, moving along. So Dr. Fauci, he got on. See, they have a problem with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. And we're going to talk about this for a minute because I kind of want to get into depth on this, okay? They're having a problem with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and the government's caused a pause on this. Huh. We'll get more depth on that. But so Dr. Fauci got on and put a YouTube video out. And this was from yesterday. If you take a look at that screenshot, it says that it has 121 likes and 1.3 thousand dislikes. Now, there's 1.89 million subscribers, and he's only got 7.7 views. One of the things that I do, I take a look at my buddy Brad or some of the other guys that are out there, some of the people I follow, some of the people I know that are out there doing what I do, right? And I don't have a very large audience compared to some of them. They have millions, you know. But one of the things that I do is I look, I got just under 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? So if I got under 3,000 subscribers and I get 450 views on a video, I say, okay, that's a certain percentage, right? And then I look at my buddy who's got 150,000 subscribers and he gets 30,000 views. I'm like, well, I'm in the ballpark of him. I'm hitting about the same average. That's pretty good. I'm happy with that. Okay. See where I'm going? See how that works? But when you look at Dr. Fauci, and let me pop this up on the screen. This is actual right now. You're looking at the YouTube right now as it is, and you're looking at the Dr. Fauci video, 1.89 million subscribers, right? You're looking at 24,756 views. You know, that's less, that's like point something percent. That's like ridiculously low. I get better viewership than he does by percentage. I mean, some of my videos have gotten I've gotten videos that have 40,000 views. So this is not good, Doc. You got a problem. So Dr. Fauci, he's got some words to say.
Today, the CDC and FDA announced that they are calling a pause on the administration of the J&J vaccine for COVID-19 due to a small number of adverse events. It was seen in 6 out of the 6.85 million people who've been vaccinated.
Okay. What? Say that again.
And out of an abundance of caution, they've called a pause on the administration.
6 out of 6 I didn't put it back far enough. Oh, well, it's going faster than I thought it was.
And out of an abundance of caution, they've called a pause of the 6.
Oh, there it is. 6 out of 6.85 million. What's the percentage of that? 6 out of 8.5 million people have gotten a blood clot after they've received the Johnson & Johnson. Not that they died. Now, mind you, there are cases of the other vaccines where people have died. I can talk about my personal experience on that, but I won't get involved in that. But people are getting the other ones and have died, and they're covering it up. But the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, 6 out of 6.85 million. That's not very much, really. And that's an anomaly. I mean, that's an accounting error. And now these people, from what I understand, haven't died. They just got blood clots. If someone dies, that's a terrible thing, and it should be taken care of. But my point in what I'm trying to say here is we're not getting the full story. We're getting the narrative. Now, I just want to go back to this real quick, okay? So you got 24,000 views with 1.89 million subscribers, but the best part is the comments. They're not, oh yeah, wait, look here. Where's it at? Oh, they turned it off. Oh, there it is. Got 307 likes and 6.3 thousand dislikes. I mean, they're getting their butts creamed on as usual. Who comes to the White House YouTube page to laugh at the downvotes? The Biden administration is the biggest joke in history. The military is being posted around the nation, isn't armed with loaded weapons. They're there. They aren't there to protect you. They're there to normalize military occupation. See, you get what people really think here, right? You know, he's nervous as heck. He's bouncing around like I do, you know, but I got other problems, which explains why he can't sit still. He's a lion snake and he knows it. The idea that healthy people are guilty of killing simply by breathing is one of the greatest cons in human history. Yep. The jab isn't a vaccine. It's a clinical trial that ends in 2023. Behold, it's the Lord of lies telling us that everything is safe and to lower the bodies behind the curtain, especially the ones that just appeared there after they were vaccinated. I feel like American people should be able to file class action lawsuits. Well, maybe so, but they can't. So, it says Falsey's lips are moving. He's lying again. I don't even have to listen, just like the rest of our government. Yep. And this goes on and on. There ain't no positive comments in here. I looked for as long as I could. It goes on and on and on as they call this guy out on China and everything else. It's insane. I can't believe these people actually put this stuff up. It's actually insane. It is totally insane. I mean, I don't have any other words for what it is. I don't have any other words. Okay, well, I don't want to play that one. Sorry. I'm having a moment here as I try to pull up the right video. Okay. So, what's going on with this Johnson & Johnson vaccine? There's something not right. So this is what the president said. The Biden administration did a terrible decision. Excuse me, a terrible disservice. I had to pull it up so I could see it. My eyes are so bad. To the people throughout the world by allowing the FDA and CDC to call a pause on the use of the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. The results of this vaccine have been extraordinary, but now its reputation will be permanently changed or challenged. The people who have already taken the vaccine will be up in arms, and perhaps all of this was done for politics, or perhaps it was the FDA's love of Pfizer. The FDA, especially with a long-time bureaucrats within, has to be controlled. They should not be able to do such damage for possibly political reasons, or maybe because their friends at Pfizer have suggested it. They'll do things like this to make themselves look important. Remember, it was the FDA working with Pfizer who announced the vaccine approval 2 days after the 2020 presidential election. They didn't like me very much because I pushed them extremely hard. But if I didn't, you wouldn't have the vaccine for 3 to 5 years, which was the plan to begin with, or maybe not at all. It takes them years to act. Do your testing, clean up the record, and get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine back online quickly. The only way to defeat the China virus is with our great vaccines. Now, a lot of people, when I posted this on my Telegram account, were kind of upset. They're like, what's going on here? The president's promoting vaccines. Well, in this particular case, he's promoting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So what's going on here? We're not getting the whole truth. We're not getting, something isn't right. You see, when he said you weren't going to get the vaccine for 3 to 5 years, they wanted to keep you shut down for 3 to 5 years. You understand what I'm saying to you? That was their plan. That's what the whole last year was about. But Donald Trump pushed these vaccines because he called their bluff. Get it? See where it's going now? Then I can't prove this. It's just my gut feeling that Pfizer and it was a Madeira and all the other companies, they already had these vaccines. They already existed. These vaccines already existed for coronavirus before this happened. I'm switching up on y'all. I'm switching videos. I'm switching videos on you. I was going to do it a different way because of what I just said. Okay. They already had these vaccines. They were already in place for profit potential, for control, for the deep state, for whatever the reason it was. These vaccines were already in place, except maybe the Johnson & Johnson one. Maybe that's why Trump's supporting it. Listen to this.
Is Orwellian. It's a big tech corporate media collusion.
You've invested $10 billion in vaccinations over the last 2 decades, and you figured out the return on investment for that.
We feel there's been over a 20-to-1 return.
If you had put that money into an S&P 500 and reinvested the dividends, you'd come up with something like $17 billion, but you think it's $200 billion.
Here, yeah. Things aren't really going to be normal. They won't be back to normal. Things won't go back to truly normal until we
return on investment for that.
We feel there's been over a 20-to-1 return.
If you had put that money into an S&P 500 and reinvested the dividends, you'd come up with something like $17 billion, but you think it's $200 billion.
Here, yeah. Things aren't really going to be normal.
$200 billion.
Things won't go back
vaccines.
to truly normal until we have a vaccine that we've gotten out to basically the entire world.
Collusion.
Some ain't right. They're working with each other. They're working with each other for profit, for control, for whatever the reason is. They're working with each other, and it ain't right. And I'm here to tell you that you're being screwed by it. So here's some more. This is said. Let's see. Ooh, I cut out the first part of it. So DeSantis said in Florida will respect the Center for Disease Control Prevention, CDC, the Food and Drug Administration, blah, blah, decision. At the same time, because the CDC is doing that, you know we're respecting the decision. We're going to follow the recommendation of the minor, the Republican governor said. But I think that they are doing this out of an abundance of caution. What he was saying, I didn't put the first part in there. He was saying, let's see here. He was saying the first part, for some reason I didn't get it in here, I apologize. What he was saying, DeSantis was saying, was that there hasn't been any cases of problems in Florida with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So why are they going after it? What's that all about? Yet on these other vaccines, they're covering up what's happening, where people are actually dying. Do they not have money in this one? Is this not part of their team? I don't know. I'm leaving the options open on that. I don't know. But I know that the narrative is not the truth. Just like with the sun, the big global warming, they don't ever mention the big ball of fire in the sky. Just like how they changed how they count hurricanes, because now we name tropical depression, we name thunderstorms. There's going to be more. We're all going to die. Just like they stopped counting the acceleration of money, in other words, inflation. Just like in the last 30 days, the Fed has totally shut down their counting systems on how inflation is created. And they changed in the 80s what they counted inflation. See, these people are screwing with you in every aspect of your life, including this one. And I'm here to tell you, they're putting out right now, I'm trying to wrap my head around why they would bring out, the media is touting, the CDC is touting that they've eliminated, because of all the mask wearing and all the separation stuff, they've defeated the flu virus. Influenza A, influenza B. There's been no cases of it in 2020 and 2021. Oh my gosh, it's like a miracle. We've did it. We've ended it. 100 years it's been around and we ended it. Woo! They're patting themselves on their back. No, they ain't. They're creating another narrative so that next November, when all of a sudden they're telling you, influenza A, influenza B, we're all going to die. It's breaking out. Everybody's getting sick from it. We're all going to die. News at 11. CNN, new report. 33,000 people have died from influenza A. Compared to last year, it's up 300%. Yeah, compared to last year when you weren't counting it because you were counting the coronavirus. It's just like under the Obama administration, after they destroyed the auto industry with their stinking cash for clunkers and everything else that they did. They touted that this was the greatest year that we've ever had since the greatest. We've sold more cars. It was like 2009, 2010, just as we were trying to get back on our feet from all that. I've been in the auto industry a long time. They said this was the best year we've had since 1945. You know how many cars were produced in 1945? They were still making tanks. They had to switch all that back over. Lies. Misdirection. How much more are you going to take of this stuff? So I got one more thing I want to show you. That, who says that all the time? One more thing. I'm going to end with this. So I want to play my buddy Brad for y'all. He did his show last night, and he went on a rant. And I could not agree more with what he's about to say. So let me pop this in here. And you guys, I think you're going to like this.
Okay. If you don't stand up, it's going to have to be stand up. Guys, we are at a point. We are at a point. I talked to another gentleman today. I talked to Alfredo, my friend that does the T-shirts for the little talk show.net. I talked to him today, and he said in his town, there's a small college there, and they're not making people take the V word, but what they're doing is if you want to go to school there, to college there, and you're not taking the V, they put you in your own separate building. You can't eat with everyone else. You can't have class with everyone else. You have to come in, and if you've been out about, when you come back home, you come back to school, you have to stay in a hotel at your own expense for 14 days. Okay. Oh, but we're not making it mandatory. I mean, why don't you just put the mark on us, show that we're a Jew and these people are ready for death? At when's it going to stop? See, it's not going to until you stand up, until we stand up. And I'm sick of being one of the only people that will stand up to this bullshiggity, as my friend James Harris says out in Arizona. It's a bunch of bull crap. We've got the proof. If you've watched the video that General Flynn said watch, that Alex did, and you can like him or dislike him, that's irrelevant. Flynn said watch it. It's the truth. General Flynn said that. Okay? And if you watch that, there is no way you can say it's not planned. It's impossible. There's no possible way anybody could look at that and say this is not a fake. This is all planned. And folks, if they have their way with this and this climate change and everything else, you're not going to have to worry about a job. Okay. See, most of you are too scared to take your mask off because you're afraid you're going to get fired from your job. I understand that. I'm not even saying do that, but it's going to come to a point where you're going to have to do it, because I'm going to tell you right now, if they try to tell me and my family that your kids are going to take this or they're not going to attend school, guess what? It's a good thing we have education degrees, because we will be homeschooling. I will not. And I told somebody today, I would bet, how much do you believe in this, Brad? I said, I would bet my house. I would bet my house on it. That's how much I know it to be a fact. But it's going to take people that's willing to bet the house to make it stop. It's going to take millions of us. I'm sorry about the rant. Okay. But you know, you can't look at the evidence that we've seen and still buy into this bull crap. I'm not saying it's not a virus. I'm not saying people haven't died because of it. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying they're using fear. Fear gets people to do things. Fear of loss makes people move. Oh, you don't have to take the V word. Yeah, you don't have to, but we'll just limit your territory. You're not going to be able to visit these businesses in what you do for a living. It's going to kind of hurt your numbers, but you know, you can keep, you don't have to do it. Don't worry about it. No, we're not making, it's not mandatory. It's just, if you want to come in the grocery store to get groceries here soon, you're going to need to be able to show your V passport, but it's not mandatory. I mean, if you want to eat, you need to do it, but it's up to you. It's not mandatory. No. You starve to, I mean, grow your own food, or, you know, I don't know how you buy seeds if you can't buy it without the passport, but, you know, hey, it's not mandatory, guys. Wake up, folks. Wake the frick up. I'm sorry. Wake up. I'm tired of being on board with a bunch of lightweight, panty-waist people that's not willing to stand up like our forefathers did. People that just want to be lazy butts and trust the government and trust everything. Do your own research. Don't take Brad's word for it. Dig into it. It's only your kids and your future at stake. I think that would be enough to be important. What about them? Somebody said, what about them pushing to have kids at school do it? Yeah. Try it with my kid and see what happens. Next thing you'll see Brad Martin on, it won't be on a little talk show. You'll see Brad on CNN and Fox News. Okay? I'll be made big time. Because I've done my research. I know the truth. And I'm not a scientist, and I don't need to be a scientist. Anybody with common sense that God gave a cockroach could see this. If you've done the research. But some of you are too lazy to do that. You're just going to believe whatever the government says or whoever, and you're going to just give your family away. And they're going to. How do you get people to move quickly? Fear. You stop going to these places. I promise you, when you stop patronizing them and their income goes to pot, they will change their tune. Money makes the world go round. But as long as you're willing to support them, as long as you're willing not to stand, then that's what you're going to have. And that's what you deserve. I'm ready for some people that's willing to stand up with me and say, not just no, hell no. Forgive me if you consider that a cuss word. It's in the Bible, okay? But hell no. Hell to the no. You're not doing it. We're not doing it anymore. Boy, I didn't plan on doing this. Okay, again, I'm going to shut up. I've already done my ranting.
All right. That was Brad. Many of you know who that is. If you don't, you can get him on Rumble. And it's the, the Little Talk Show? Yeah, that's right there, right here. Let me put this back up so that you can see his link is right there. The Little Talk Show with Brad on Rumble is the best place to try to find him. Okay? And Brad is right there with us. Brad puts more stuff out there than I do. I kind of try to tone mine down a little bit. I'm trying to reach the first step. He's working on the second and third step, people. We all have our role to play and our part to fill. I do appreciate everybody jumping on. Do me a favor, share this video. Share. Everybody needs to hear what the truth is. And I try to put my truth. No, there is no such thing as my truth. There's truth. Truth is true by definition. Anything other than the truth is a lie. So I try to put it out there. Some of this is my opinion. I can't prove it. Just go with my gut. And it's kind of like Trump. And y'all are going, oh, but Trump's for vaccination. You know, how many times has Trump been wrong? When Trump says something, how many times he's been wrong? The media bashing, all stuff. And it turns out he was absolutely right. How many times? So I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. Please share the video. If you're on YouTube, like, subscribe, share it. Oh, check me out on Rumble. Let me give you those links again. This is Patriot Mike Cook on Rumble. And make sure you go over to Telegram. I'm telling you, Telegram is where it's at right now. If you want information, Telegram's where it is. And that's t.me/Patriot Mike Thoughts. That's the direct link, or you just look up Patriot Mike channel. And if you can't find it, send me a message or something, and I'll send you a link. I do appreciate everybody jumping on. You guys have a great day. It's time for me to go to work. Talk to y'all later.